Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Pat, the P in J on PR Gaming, and I am here with
Matt, the M. Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
We are here for episode 13 of MPC on MCP. Episode 13, looking at the Spider Foes primarily.
Yeah.
So, Matt is very excited about this episode. The faction has, become a true affiliation now in the last couple of weeks. They were obviously a thing beforehand, but Goblin had been out for a little while. We've had Doc Ock since the starter set. But I think they needed a few more characters, a few suite of tactics cards, and that's exactly what we got in the more recent releases.
Oh yes.
And boy, are they good looking.
Oh, the model is the best looking faction available right now, in my opinion. You get all 8 models together, and wow! I mean, like Doc Ock is still a bit. He's like a starter set. Like, it's a cool pose still.
It's fine.
Of all of them, he's the most static looking.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, Mysterio, Lizard, Craven, so good.
Yep.
Obviously, Green Goblin's still one of my favorite sculpts.
Yeah. I think they're great.
I can't wait for the next 2 or 3 or 4. Hopefully not waiting too long, but I'm happy. Yeah. They've done enough now. I'm happy to wait, to play them, tide it over until we get Rhino and Vulture and Shocker and Electro. Yeah. Shocker would be a 2-threat, I think. I'm just gonna throw that out. We need a 2-threat, and I think it might be Shocker or Chameleon. I've discussed
Chameleon. Yeah, I was thinking Chameleon could be like just a worse Mystique.
Yeah, or some sort of cross between Mystique and Bullseye. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not really sure. He doesn't really do a lot in like.
No, I sort of do want to see that, and one of the comic book recommendations I do look at some of the Spider Foes, and
actually one of the ones I have Chameleons in.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see whether or not we ever get any of these characters as MCP characters. It'll be cool.
Interesting. Are you looking at like the Sinister 66, where it's like
it's the superior foes of Spider-Man?
Nice.
And they are definitely not the superior foes.
I think they are.
They're great. We will be looking at Boomerang and Shocker, Beetle, and characters like that.
Classic.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about them.
No, not just yet. But not just yet. There's no. Just a heads up for anyone that watches it and just wants to watch the last couple minutes. There won't be any character reveal at the end of the episode because every character revealed is out currently. There's no preview cards that we don't have in hand. Some places in the world might not have them right now. Apologies if you're those people. But I don't see the need to sort of show off a character card and talk about it when it's kind of public information now.
Yeah. I think the only one I think would be Omega Red, but I think we can leave that.
Again, I think a lot of places have him already.
It's fair. It's just I don't think we're going to speak about him in any affiliation discussion. The little poison maestro.
Yeah, I like him.
I think he's going to be cool. You're probably going to play him at some point, aren't you?
Maybe sooner.
Rather than later.
I'm torn between a character I don't really love and him. So I'll talk about it later.
Nice.
It will come up in the conversation, in fact. So we have had a few reveals from AMG though, and we can talk about those now. Quick.
Like half an hour ago? An hour ago?
One of it was literally like 15 minutes ago, actually. So from recording, and that was we've had Blade and Moon Knight. I've gone up for order on the website. I did check with my FLGS, JK Games, and he can't order them yet. He's checked.
When they are, we don't know.
So I'm guessing August.
I think August.
They have a new affiliation, which is one I'm actually quite excited about.
Yeah, And it was cool because we were both like, are they going to do it, or are they going to be? Is it going to be a second Defenders leadership? And I think this is the better way to go.
So we are getting Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. I'm super excited for Midnight Suns.
These guys are more of your mystic Defenders kind of roster.
Yeah.
Not
supernatural
super.
stuff.
Yeah, they're not super. I wouldn't say it was a super well-known affiliation. If you're just in this for like the TV shows and comics, TV shows and films, like then you're probably going to have no idea who these guys are.
Yeah.
But we're talking Blade, Doctor Strange is in there, or probably will be in there, I imagine.
I would think.
You've got Brother Voodoo, who again isn't going to be a character anyone really knows outside of comics. I'm trying to think who else is in there. Obviously, Moon Knight. Punisher. Is it? Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah.
You've also got Ghost Rider.
Iron Fist. Man-Thing.
Oh, like God, Man-Thing. Jesus.
Yeah, Man-Thing. Yeah. You'd say Ghost Rider, like Ghost Rider. Morbius.
Morbius is in there, yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see a Morbius sooner rather than later as well, because
especially with the film.
Yeah, I think AMG will catch on to that, and we'll get a Morbius fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's another Spider foe.
Yeah, true. Oh, nice. Yeah, good shot. Good shot.
Yeah. So
I could see that.
It'd be nice to see him either with another Spider foe or with another Midnight Sun.
And it's interesting because he's also been sometimes like a frenemy as well. So
yeah, I mean, I said the same about Black Cat, and she turned out to be a friend rather than an enemy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she's part of Criminal Syndicate, though. To be fair,
she is a Criminal Syndicate.
But I agree. I'm surprised she wasn't a Spider foe as well as a Web Warrior.
It's fine,
but
it's fine.
It'll be cool. Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, Blade and Moon Knight come with an affiliation card. So we're assuming Blade's the leader. A guess. And three tactics cards. It's good. We'll show a picture at the end. I've got the picture. We'll chuck it up if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And the other teases we've had recently from AMG are a new Thanos style sized, by the sounds of it, box set. In fact, it's more expensive than Thanos. If the price leaks at anything to go by.
I've come to bargain.
I will need to bargain to afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously not true, but I mean, I'm very excited for this one as well, because we're talking. So I guess it's the right time because he's kind of like a Midnight Suns enemy.
Yeah, he's that supernatural villain. Yeah,
big Doctor Strange enemy. He's one of the main supernatural villains, I would have said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting for him to crop up again in the MCU. You will have already seen him in Doctor Strange 1, and that is Dormammu. Sounds very interesting because the way they worded it on the tease, it sort of said he's got a character for the game, a couple of terrain pieces, or I think 3 terrain pieces. I think it was two portals and something else. It sounds like he's going to have some sort of mechanic where he's not on the table and you have something on the table instead of him. That this is me guessing completely. But,
that was reading between the lines, but
that was reading between the lines and how it sort of was worded. Be very interested to see how he works, and obviously you get the cool portals that they've shown off. I think you get 2 of those. Well, that might be how he. I don't know. We're not sure yet until he's obviously out.
Like you have to summon him or something like that. That would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool.
What this is kind of cool for is, this is like a big interdimensional thing. Like it doesn't have like a body, so to speak, all the time. No. Like there have been times in the comics where he looks a bit more human-y in the sense that he's got 2 arms and 2 legs or whatever. But AMG are finding these really cool ways to have like different kinds of villains, and I think definitely 100% like this will come with an ultimate encounter, I assume.
It does, yeah. It's an ultimate. They've already said it's an ultimate encounter box set, same as Thanos. Which is awesome. So it's going to be this much more thematic way of playing. We're definitely going to play that one at some point. But what that kind of interests me is for something like Galactus eventually, that because there's similar sort of giant ass things, just like these big things that live
far more beyond just Earth, you know. So that would be cool. It'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah, definitely. All about that. And obviously, we've recently played finally got around to playing the Thanos Ultimate Encounter, and very much enjoyed that. Looking forward to playing some of the other ones as well soon, because narrative is the way to go. Agreed. And yeah, we're here both getting ready for the sort of tournament on Sunday. We might as well mention that now. So, little plug while we're here. 18th of July, that's next Sunday. So, this is being filmed on Monday. So, it'll be up probably today, to be honest, because we're filming this quite early.
Yep.
I think there's still tickets available.
Yep, I believe so.
I think there's a few tickets available. It's at Exeter Union County Games, or in Exeter, I should say. It's £20 ticket. Goodie bag is included, I believe. Win or lose.
Everybody gets stuff.
It's advertised as a tournament, but it is going to be, very welcoming for newer players. We already know there's a couple of newer players going. Me and Pat are going to be there. Darren's going to be there. So if you draw Darren, I apologise. That was not designed for newer players. Like, I apologise in advance. Like, I apologise if I get him.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 rounds. 4 rounds, taking place between 10 and 7. Nice little prize thing at the end. It'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Same here. No idea what I'm playing yet, but
I mean, my list is locked in. You'll see in a minute. It's not locked in because there's a couple of changes that might happen, but it's basically locked in.
You guys are getting a worldwide exclusive.
Lists. If you are interested, if you want to jump in, do it by Friday because you have to hand in your lists to Marcus by Friday.
Yeah, and that's just to make sure that everyone is
not
the same. Not cheap, basically.
And yeah, I think Marcus wants to make sure no one's sort of trying to ruin the experience for other people. Sorry.
Agreed.
So with that, we'll move on to our main section, talking about my beloved Spider-Foes, the real heroes of the Spider-Man universe. There wouldn't be a Spider-Man without Spider-Foes. I mean, there would be, but it would just be pointless.
He'd just be that guy like rescuing cats out of trees and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. He would just be that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not doing anything except, maybe.
Which I think Peter would like.
I think he probably would.
He'd probably prefer that.
And like his family and friends definitely would.
Absolutely.
But, he shouldn't be such a terrible superhero that they always get in trouble. Yeah, said it.
Well, other than the beautiful models, what attracts you to this faction then? Okay,
so Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s.
Yeah, that's it. Enough said.
Obviously the comics as well, but I don't ever remember being like a massive Spider-Man comic fan. There were a few, which obviously that were like, wow, this is amazing, and I prefer the slightly darker Spider-Man comics, but Craven's Last Hunt, for example. The cartoon series, I just blew, it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And obviously the Spider-Man films, the original ones were
the Sam Raimi ones. Yeah.
Sam Raimi trilogy. Well, it wasn't a trilogy, but
we'll call it a duology. We like the first two.
We don't count. Were fantastic, and that really, sort of like kick-started superhero films again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which they deserve to. I mean, to be fair, I watched them again the other day, not the third one, and I actually don't think they've aged that well.
Oh.
They are still good, but I definitely, having rewatched them, I was like, actually, it's been a few years since I last watched them, and I was like, haven't aged as well as I remember. But Alfred Molina as Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I cannot
still
wait.
Good? Okay.
I cannot wait for him to be back as in Multiverse of Madness.
Nice.
Even if he's only on screen for like 5 minutes, I don't care. He was perfect.
He will steal the show. He will steal the show.
As Doc Ock, he was perfect.
Yeah, he was.
So let's have a talk about some of the characters. Of all 8 of the characters that you can get in Spider-Foes.
It's pretty new. They've only recently got the 8. Originally, they were just. It was just. There were 3 for 4 for a long time. Yeah, 4 for a long time. But, you needed some 3s, and you got some 3s, and that really helped.
They are. Yeah. So let's go. We're going to start with the boss.
With the boss man,
Norman Osborn. Mm-hmm. Not the original. So I keep comparing the Spider-Foes to the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
And it's various. Yeah. Gatherings over the years. And I keep forgetting that they're not the Sinister Six. This is Spider-Foes, which is just a generic. Here's the Spider-Man Rogues gallery in one place, mostly. Otherwise, Doc Ock would be the leader, usually speaking.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but usually.
But I think originally as well.
Certainly originally, and I still think we will get a newer Doc Ock. Ooh. I know you still think Superior Spider-Man, but we've already got 2. We've already got quite a few Spider-Men.
I think we're going to get 4 or 5 Spider-Man.
Oh, we 100% will. We'll get a whole multiverse of Spider-Man, but I think Superior might be down the list because it is another Peter Parker, technically.
It's another. Yeah, is it? I'm going to call it It's going to be the first Peter Parker slash Otto Octavius. Yeah.
So I still think we're going to get a different Doc Ock at some point who will lead Spider-Foes, but who knows? I might be wrong.
Who knows? Yeah.
So we have Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. Mm-hmm. He is a 4th threat character. He has 7 stamina, movement of medium, size 3 because he's on his glider. He has 4 physical, 3 energy, 3 mental, mystic defense. So fairly solid 4 threat stat line there. 7
That's nice. Chunk of stamina. Yeah, chunk of stamina and a really good physical defense. I'm happy with that.
Decent defenses. Not super high, but
Yeah, medium move on a medium base as well. Like that's that's fine.
Base. Yeah, bigger base as well there. He has 2 attacks. Now they are physical, but you have the caveat that you can choose to make them energy if you want to.
Yep, which is great.
His first one is Pumpkin Bombs. It's range 4. Only 4 dice.
Terrible.
I'm learning to not hate 4 dice attacks because I've had to. I've had to force myself to hate them. Quite a bit of text here. Before choosing a target, you can choose whether it's physical or energy. After the attack is resolved, the character gets power equal to damage dealt, normally 1 or 2, hopefully. On a wild, though, you do get Bag of Tricks, and this is before damage is dealt. The enemy character gains one of the following special conditions: bleed, poison, or incinerate. Nice selection.
Yeah, really good, really good selection of conditions there.
Yeah, incinerate, really useful, especially when you've got a lot of 4 dice attacks. You'll see that it's a bit. Incinerate's probably the go-to, not going to lie. Bleed, always, it's just that little bit of extra damage, and just
bleed is really annoying, and bleed's really good as well when you've got 4 dice because it's a stagger unless you want it to do an extra damage like that. It's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of little ways of chip damaging people.
There really are.
And poison, obviously, power reduction, always helpful, especially if you don't want the your opponent sort of getting any extra when you don't really want them to, because you don't give out that much power, because you're not doing a huge amount of damage per attack on these guys, usually. His next attack is Knight of the Goblin, range 3, slightly short range, 7 dice, 4 power. Before choosing a target, this character can choose whether this attack is physical or energy. Always nice. And if this attack deals damage, after this attack is resolved, the target gains the poison and incinerate special conditions. Just going to get that 1 damage through on a 7 dice attack.
Yep.
Which is nice. Again, poison, incinerate, useful.
It is expensive. I think for cost for that, But it's flexible, you know. A lot of the times when you're just choosing that energy, you are going to be, if you're 7 dice, you're probably going to be against maximum 4, but, you know, realistically, probably 3 energy. In which case, you probably should get the damage through, and if you get the damage through, you'll get that poison and incinerate. And yeah, I think there's he can do the conditions pretty well, Norman.
I think so. And there's quite a few other characters around that benefit from that these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to admit, I don't know how often you are using this attack, because
about once per game.
Yeah, you don't really, and the reason being is he has 2 very good superpowers that both cost a decent amount of power, and you have 4 dice builder. So
it's more likely when you are injured, but we'll get to that.
Which we'll see why. Yep.
So he has 5 superpowers. 1 is flight. I mean, not really superpower, but you know, he's on a glider. It technically isn't, because he's on a glider. It's not really. Yeah. I guess he's not. He's one of those characters that I like, because he's not really. He's just a human.
He's just a crazy ass human.
He's just a nutter.
Yeah.
His other ability, I've seen people complain about this not that long ago, actually, which is a bit weird. It's Arch Nemesis. Now, we've seen this twice, I believe, and they're both in Spider Foes.
Yeah.
When attacking Peter Parker, this character may modify or reroll skull results, and may reroll any number of attack dice, which is really good, especially on a 4 dice builder. So that doesn't seem bad. Then, however, if at the start of this character's activation, if there is a non-dazed enemy Peter Parker within range 3, this character's first action must be to attack Peter Parker, if able. So we're talking Amazing Spider-Man or the core set Spider-Man. It's not a terrible thing. It just means that if your opponent is running a Spider-Man, they can kind of force you to attack him when you might not want to be doing that.
Yeah.
Or if you misplace, or you've just got to be aware that you have to spend your first attaction.
Well, it is the first attaction. Yeah,
first action. It must be to attack Peter Parker. So. Yeah, you might have a character within range that you really want to finish off that's like sat there on like 1 health, and your opponent swings in Peter and just sits him next to you, knowing that you're gonna have to spend at least 1 action to hit him. So it's not that bad. The people that have sort of said, "Oh, it overcomplicates things," like, no, it doesn't. You just have to know your characters. It's 1 thing, and 2 when we get to the other character with it. But
and the thing is, as well, it's not going to come up all that often.
It hasn't come up in a single game I've used him in 10 games.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah,
probably maybe more. More. And it's never come up.
I think it will come up more now that Amazing Spider-Man has
true. I
become a bit more of a thing.
Since,
but you're right. Like, this doesn't happen that often, and when it does, you probably want to be attacking him anyway.
I mean, maybe not. Like, definitely, he's not attacking.
At least all I'll say, at least it doesn't move you closer to the target character. Like, that would be a real problem. You can
and the rerolls are
exactly
nice. To be honest, I would definitely, if I had the power and I was within 3, I would definitely use Night of the Goblin if I could, with a 7 dice rerollable attack. Yeah,
absolutely,
100%.
Yeah, like, that doesn't seem bad.
I know Spider-Man's fairly survivable, but
he is. It's
poison and incinerate on him. I'd take that.
Yep.
So his next one is, I'm just going to work up the card now.
I like it.
This is a reactive power. It's Trick or Treat. Big fan of this. It's 3 power.
Yeah.
When an enemy character ends an advance or is placed within range 4 of this character may use the superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature of size 3 or less within range 2 of the enemy character that was moved or placed. Destroy that terrain feature, and the enemy character suffers a collision as if the terrain feature had collided with it.
Yeah, this is really good. I mean,
it just means your opponent's got to be more aware of where they're moving to.
Absolutely, and it's difficult because
out of turn throw.
Like, range 4 is so annoyingly long. Like, that is really, really long, and we'll see that there's similar abilities like this in the game. I mean, we may see one later, but this is just out of attack action or out of attaction.
If you're thinking of Mysterio, then not really.
It's not the same. It's not the same. But
arguably, Goblins is better.
Goblins is better. You are right. But there are you will see that there are ways of dealing extra bits of damage to players outside of the attack action, which mitigates a little bit of that 4 dice and allows you to spend more of your actions if you need to on positioning, because as long as you've got the power, you can just do your damage a little bit out of action there, and it is really annoying. It's really annoying.
It is. So his next one is hit and run. We've seen this before. This is you make an attack action followed by a move action. Costs 2 power. It's super helpful.
Action economy, we love it.
Action economy.
Yeah, I mean, you basically 50% increase in the number of things you can do. You can normally either move or attack, or move or attack. Now you get to move, attack. So or
attack, move, attack, or attack, move.
Yeah. So you basically just get you get an extra thing to do, people. That you get an extra thing to do.
Then his final one is his leadership ability, which is Oscorp. Well, it's not his final one, but I haven't flipped the card yet. Yeah. So his leadership ability is Oscorp weaponry, affiliation, spider foes. So Norman is basically giving out loads of weapons to his allies. Once per turn, when an allied character is attacking, it can spend a power when modifying opposing defense dice. If it does, it may reroll 1 opposing defense dice.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's useful. Definitely came up in our game.
It did. Like, I think when they first came out, we're thinking 1 power to reroll that 1 dice. Like, is that worth it? It is worth it.
Quite often
if you've got the power to do it, and quite often if you're playing a slightly brawly matchup, you're going to either have power because you've taken damage, or you're going to have power because you've dealt damage. So,
and again, with a lot of 4 dice attacks going around, having the ability just to potentially make your opponent's roll a little bit worse is really helpful. Absolutely agree.
You're not going to be using this all the time, but when you play this affiliation more, you'll know when is the right time to use it. Yes. And when you do, when you need that extra 1 damage to go through because, your opponent's blocked just the right amount, just make them re-roll it, man.
Yeah, they've got 2 health, you've done 3 damage, they've blocked 2 of it, you're like, nah, re-roll.
Re-roll, yeah.
It is good. Now, Green Goblin's very interesting. He was one of the first characters that came out that had a very different backside. Yeah.
His front and back are almost like a completely different.
You get a new character.
You get a new character.
He gets damaged, and then his mind goes, ha, full Goblin.
Yeah, full Goblin, man.
So it goes down to 5 stamina, but 12 total across the card. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, still a medium mover, still size 3. Mm-hmm. His defenses, however, change from 4-3-3 to 3-3-5.
Yeah. Okay.
So energy doesn't change, but your physical drops 1, but your mystic mental goes up by 2.
Because you just don't care.
Because it just doesn't care. His attack. His pumpkin bomb attack goes up to 5 dice.
Love it.
Everything else is the same, but pumpkin bomb goes up to 5 dice. Yep. Knight of the Goblin goes down to 3 power.
Yep. Love it.
Again, same. Everything else is the same. Just drops down power to 3. Leadership ability is still the same.
Yep.
He loses hit and run and gains glider ram.
Yep.
Costs 3 power. Oh, he also loses tricks and traps as well. But gains glider ram. So it costs 3 power. This character is thrown medium. Yep. It does not suffer damage if it collides with a character or a terrain feature. But obviously, whoever you're thrown into does. Mm-hmm. and the superpower can only be used once per activation. I love these abilities. Obviously, we've got similar ones on some other characters.
Black Panther has one, except it's thrown short. Like it's only thrown short. Yeah.
And this is medium with a medium base again. So
exactly. So it's so much longer. This is really good. He's size 3 as well. Like people forget.
It's 4 damage.
Like Green Goblin is just a normal dude. He's on his glider. You know, it's
you've got to remember a big part of the size is actually him. It's glider, not him.
Like that is 4 damage for 3 power. Just being thrown out at someone.
Yeah,
and if you can move that medium as well, like if that's an hour, like that again, it's a bit of action economy. Like you spend 3 and you get that medium move, as well as damage. It's good. It's good.
So still has Arch Nemesis. Then he gains a new, and obviously still has flight. He's still in his glider. He gains a new. It's not really a power, but it's, I mean, obviously it's classed as superpower. It's not. So it's unstable psyche. Now you're wondering where you're going to get all this power from to use glider ram and Knight of the Goblin through. Well, this character cannot interact with or hold objective tokens.
He don't care about that anymore.
He's gone mental. He doesn't care.
During
the power phase, however, roll 5 dice, and each crit, wild, and hit, you gain 1 power.
So that's 50% on each dice.
So that should be 2 or 3 extra power a turn.
Yeah.
Or like with one of my rolls, 5 extra power.
5 extra power. Yeah.
I didn't need it. I think I was on like 8 power at the time, but
and that is the thing, isn't it? Because if Green Goblin's flicked, he probably has a decent chunk of power, unless he's been stunned or whatever. So
it's but it's so good.
It keeps him topped up.
Yeah. So that's Goblin. A really good leader, really fun to play, especially with his 2 different sides. He's maneuverable. Big base, medium move is always going to be, better than your basic base there. He's got good range on his attacks. He's got good range on his powers. His leadership ability is okay. Like it takes a bit. It's middle. It's
the more you play, the better
it costs power, so it's never going to be top tier. But I like it, and he's still one of the best models in the game, in my opinion.
Agreed. He is also affiliated Criminal Syndicate, so you may see that in the future where there's a nice little crossover.
And into the next character. We now have, we've talked about him before, so I'm not going to talk about him too much now. The leader of the Criminal Syndicate, Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. We have done the Criminal Syndicate episode, haven't we?
Yeah,
we did. Well, it was when Mysterio was teased. We did.
It was
a few episodes ago. So I won't talk about Fisk too much, but he's another 4-threat character. He's another leader, and he's affiliated with Spider-Foes and Criminal Syndicate, same as Goblin. There is a lot of crossover. It was episode 7. I think it was a few episodes ago. So he's got a throw. He's got damage reduction. He's very tanky. And he's got 5 dice builder, but only range 2. So and he's slow. So it's very very different to Goblin, but very tanky character. 14 health, decent defenses and damage reduction. It's good character to have in your roster.
Agreed.
I'm going to keep with the classic 4 first. So we've got Venom. Pretty sure we've talked about Venom before. But
we talked about Venom when I did Web Warriors.
So again, 4 threat. So look at 3-4 threats so far. I mean, we know what Venom does. He eats people.
He just doesn't go down. He just does not go down.
A very tanky character.
Who cares about all that talk about the 2 energy defense? All that 2 energy defense does is give you a chance.
And gives you more power,
It just gives you a chance. That's all it does. It's like, your only hope is that you don't get eaten by Venom.
And obviously he's got counter attack and everything as well, so you can't even guarantee that you're not going to get eaten in your turn.
Yeah, he's got a really good pulse, so he's got some objective control. He's got a throw. Like you said, he's got a reactive attack back. You can't modify dice when you're being attacked by Venom. And again, like, this is the third character in a row where they just have a massive pool of stamina and really good physical defense.
You're looking at 12, 14, and 13 health, respectively, on those.
We're looking at like, there's a theme going here amongst those starting characters of just characters who don't go down very easily.
Yeah. And then we get to our first non-4 threat character. And this is Otto Octavius himself, Doc Ock, from the core set. It was one of those weird ones in the core set, like Spider-Man, where they weren't affiliated with the original, and you sort of like, not that, again, not that that's an issue. But,
what a tease!
But it was like, oh my god, we're going to get more. Yeah. So he is a 3-threat character. Yeah. Which I quite often forget. I always think he's 4. I always think he's 4. I don't know why. Because he's definitely not got.
I think it's because he does a decent amount. Like, he actually does a decent job at what he's good at.
Early days, I think he was. Yeah. Not because like Valkyrie came out quite quickly, and everyone was like, "Oh, she's for 3. She's like, for some reason, people think she's so much better." So
I've never seen it. I've seen Doc Ock do way more.
I mean, you've seen me roll 4 wilds with Doc Ock. So he is 3 threat, movement of medium, of 5 stamina, size 2. His defenses are very good for a 3 threat. He's got 4 physical, 3 energy, 4 mystic.
And he's on that medium base as well.
And he's on a bigger base as well. Yeah. So again, surprisingly fast-ish.
Yep.
And he's got a range 3 strike with his tentacles. Only 4 dice again.
Who cares? When
gains power equals to damage dealt. However, on a wild, he gets his flurry of arms, which is when making this attack, each wild counts as 2 successes. I did roll 4 wilds against Pat once with this attack. I can't remember who it was against, but they instantly were dazed. It might have been. It was against a pretty good character as well, and he just went.
Well, actually, I think it. Yeah.
I can't remember. It was an early game.
I think it was
Thor.
It might have been Thor, And I think Doc Ock just ate Thor, and I was like, okay, that's
it was definitely a higher threat character.
Yeah, no, I genuinely do think it was Thor.
I think you might be right. Yeah. I think you actually might be. It was a very early game, but I just rolled it. It was like, oh yeah, 4 wilds. What does he do on a wild again? I was like, that's 8 damage, and you were just like, oh, oh, like, I blocked 2.
Well, I'm dazed, so that's fun.
So yeah, Doc Ock definitely can get stuff done. It just requires those wilds, but he builds up power pretty quickly. He has his arm lasers for 3 power, range 4. Yep. Not a beam attack, weirdly, for a laser, but 6 dice.
It's lots of different lasers.
That is true. It does ignore line of sight and cover, and it does have a wild pierce, which is always nice.
Yeah. I think this is a really good spender, and I'm doing spender in air quotes, so it's only really 3 power.
I mean,
it's range 4, which is great.
Range 4.
It ignores line of sight, which is great. It's 6 dice. It's fine. You're not paying too much into it. And it's energy attack with a pierce. So
yeah,
it's really good.
I like
to.
He has a pretty bad throw. 3 power. I mean, it's not terrible. Because it's a character or terrain feature, which makes it a little bit better. Size 2 or less within range 3. Throw it short. So it's not great, but normally I'd use it to shift a character off something rather than.
That's it. It's a control piece rather than a damage throw.
You can use it as that, but.
And you can, and to be fair, it's within 3. Like a lot of the 3 threat throws are within 2.
This is the benefit. It's within 3. Again, that's just sort of going on with the fact that it's his tentacle arms doing it rather than him. Yeah. He has another way of getting power with his scientific hubris. Remember, this character rolls dice. If you rolled a crit, it's a crit. Yeah,
it is a crit.
You get 1 power. Yep. That's whenever you roll dice. You could be interacting with an objective, or you could be defending, or
dodging,
dodging, whatever, anything.
But it's only ever 1. It's only ever 1. It's not per crit. It's still really good.
At least 1 crit.
Yeah, it's still
really
good.
Your beast has got a version of it.
Shuri.
Shuri, someone else's as well nowadays. There's quite a few characters that have similar sort of abilities. He's also a wall crawler, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
And his injured side, he actually goes up a stamina to 6. So actually, he's 11 stamina. Yeah. Nothing else changes.
No.
So
I really like this character. I don't know. I think especially in this affiliation, he offers Spider-Foes something a little bit different, which is a bit more of a control piece in the sense that he can move up pretty fast. So compared to a Venom
he's
or a
actually
Kingpin,
really good at grabbing an edge, like middle objective, and just holding it.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at that.
I think Doc Ock has a place. I think he really does. And importantly, being a 3 threat, even though there are more 3s that have come out in time, I don't think he's lost his place.
No, I don't think so. Where do I go now? Now we've got the 4 new ones. So let's go with the 4th threat. Let's go back to 4.
Okay, cool.
And
Cletus Cassidy.
Indeed. Carnage.
Oof. Now, yeah.
He is 4th threat, as I've just said. He has 7 stamina. Medium move on a small base. Is he on a small base? Yeah.
No, he's on a medium base. He's got a load of tentacles, Matt.
Yeah, you're right. He's on a medium base.
He's on a medium base.
So in my head then, I was like, he's on a small. But no, because he came with Mysterio, who's on the small.
Yeah.
He is size 2.
Yep.
His defenses, I mean, I think we've discussed this before. His defenses are, we did on the reveal show, wasn't it?
We did.
He has 5 physical, 1 energy, 1 mental, which, yeah.
It is what it is.
If your opponent has the tools to deal with it, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Like Scarlet Witch can just one-shot him.
Yeah.
Like, not without too much difficulty. Other characters, like, they're going to damage him, but they're just going to feed him some power, which you're okay with usually.
And I think to be fair as well, I know I sent in the one game that we played in person with this, I sent in She-Hulk and Angela, but Angela did use her energy attack a fair amount of times. I think it was twice in one activation I used it against Carnage. And I still couldn't get down that 7 stamina. Like, that 7 stamina is still a lot of stamina to deal with. Like, that is, it is.
No, it is. And I think that does balance out. So he has 2 physical attacks.
Yeah.
Symbiote Tendrils, which is the same as Venom's, range 3, 5 dice, no power.
Bleed.
And causes bleed. Auto bleed.
Yeah,
and obviously power equal to damage dealt. Then he has an awesome attack, which is maximum carnage. Costs 5 power, not 3. Not bad. It's an area 2 attack.
Yeah.
And now, not the biggest fan of area attacks, but it's fine. It's 7 dice.
Yep.
After this attack is resolved, the target character gains bleed, so it could be multiple target characters.
So good, yeah.
And on a hit and a wild, after each attack is resolved, deal a damage to each other enemy character within 2 of this character. So, like, tentacles are just shooting out and stabbing people. Like, you're focusing on one person, but tentacles are stabbing other people. Then you turn around and focus on the other person, and the tentacles start stabbing other people. You can create this, like, bubble of a wild and a hit isn't too hard.
On 7 dice.
On 7 dice. And it's almost guaranteed, actually. Like, obviously it's not, but
it's not. But
mathematically, it should almost be guaranteed. It's the wild issue. The hit it's almost like a hit should be guaranteed on 7 dice. But no, I think is it a hit and guaranteed on 4? I don't know. I can't remember. It's dice, so it's nothing is guaranteed with dice. But
I was about to say.
statistically speaking, it's not uncommon for this to go off. And it's just more damage.
It is, and I think that's the role that Carnage has in this affiliation, which is like, I'm just going to go in as a torpedo, as a torpedo piece, and explode exactly. Like, I'm just going to take out as many things as possible. You know, you can add extra dice to his attacks with statistically. You can heal with Paint the Town. We've spoken about the card, but
that is true.
But yeah, there's just so much you can do with this guy. Like,
yeah.
The two superpowers just work in conjunction so nicely. It's expensive, you know, statistically costing 2 power. How many you did take a damage basically every time you did this, but turns out it doesn't matter.
apart from once.
True.
I think, like, there was one time when I rolled like 9 dice and didn't take the skull. Yeah, it might have been on a symbiote tendrils. Actually, I think it was only 7 dice, but still, only one time I didn't take a damage. But because of Paint the Town red, it's not that bad. Like, you can
you're
fully
like, oops, oops, I'm fully healed.
So basically, very quickly, statistically, 2 power to get 2 dice to your next attack action. But if you roll any skulls, you take 1 damage. Only ever 1 damage.
Yeah. Because that would have been. You have done.
There was one where I rolled 3 or 4. Yeah.
You're like, 4 skulls.
I'm just going to check the wording on the text. Thank God. Paint the Town red is 3 power. If you daze or KO an enemy character during your activation, spend 3 power. You get to fully heal, move small, and then make a symbiote tendrils attack if anyone else is in range. Once per turn, obviously. He does have the Arch Nemesis rule, so this is the other character with Arch Nemesis. His Arch Nemesis is Eddie Brock, exactly the same. He must attack Venom. Well, Eddie Brock, because we might get a different Eddie Brock coming at some point. And you can re-roll skulls and re-roll dice. He also has Symbiotic Serial Killer. When this character is attacking, the defending character does not add dice to its defense roll for its crits. And he obviously is a wall crawler.
Yep. It's weird because he's very similar to Venom and then very different to Venom at the same time. Like, there are some very obvious similarities, which you'd expect. They're both symbiotes. They have the same builder attack. They both have wall crawler. They both you can't re-roll defense dice or whatever against them. They're both weak to energy attacks, but then they do things in completely different ways. Like, Carnage is just, I am going to throw all the dice possible at the problem and hope that
Venom's a bit more of a brawler type. Like, he'll
stick around,
sit there, take a bit, punch back. Carnage just wants to run in, annihilate someone, and then maybe carry on annihilating people, or maybe just get taken out.
I mean, he is a serial killer. That is what Carnage is. Like, Carnage is a serial killer.
And his injured side is exactly the same. So he's 14 stamina, so another high stamina character.
Yeah. I love this character. I love how he feels in game.
I might have to do that at some point, is run all four threats at 16 and just have a lot of health on the table. I think you're just going to have to deal with the problem by not dealing with it. Like, just be like, I'm not going to win this game by attacking, so I'm just going to try and push and throw and do whatever. But then again, it's difficult to throw because you're all size 3 apart from Carnage at that point. Tricky. So Carnage is pack mate. Again, it's a character we've talked about previously in Criminal Syndicate and on the is Mysterio, Quentin Beck, 3 threat, 6 stamina, small move, size 2, 1 physical, 1 energy, 5 mystic defense. Again, the caveat that unless the opponent spends 2 power, you always use your mystic defense. Again, with you can also use mystic defense with dodge rolls as well.
Yeah. That's really big.
And he's got something that I actually think I forgot when I was using him. Whenever he rolls a blank, he gets power.
Oh, you definitely did forget that, and it's another one of those neat abilities that allows you to. That's cool. I think that might be the first time I've.
Yeah, it's in the same bit about the using Mystic Defense dodge rolls, and I definitely completely forgot that, because that would work on his tricks and traps as well, because whenever he rolls dice.
So honestly, all you guys need to know about Mysterio is he's probably the best spider foe. As in, like, he might be one of the best 3 threats in the game. I'm just going to put it out there. I have been so impressed with Mysterio.
I love him.
Yeah, every time you've played him, I'm just like, holy moly.
Like,
this guy.
There's been games where he's done not a lot, but he's so good. He's so fun to play. Like, you don't want to sort of go at him, really, because
like, I turn 1 dazed him and then was just unable to hit him the rest of the game. Like, was just not able to hit him at any point.
He's just an annoyance. Like, he's not even like that big of a threat.
But it was just like, I gave him the power in turn 1 to have tricks and traps for the rest of the game.
Basically, yeah.
That's all that happened.
And tricks and traps is his main little like thing that he does.
It's his thing.
Which is an enemy character ends a movement in 3, spend 3 power, roll 4 dice, each crit and wild, take damage. And if it does a damage, then Mysterio gets a short move.
And how many times did you just do that 1 damage? That was
like
all
every
it
time,
needed.
Every time. I think
it just
I did 2
does
damage
1
on at least once or twice as well.
Yeah, so. I agree. But what that works really nicely with in conjunction is the fact that he has stealth.
Yes, exactly. So you hit. It's like constant hit and run, but out of turn, which is nice.
Out of turn. Yeah.
I mean, his attacks aren't overly impressive. He's got Hypnotic Glass, which is 4 dice, range 3, power equals damage dealt. But if this character does damage, then you get to move the opposing character short, which is very useful. But again, it's only a 4 dice attack.
Yep.
Curtain Call.
But it is Mystic.
Yeah, it is. It's also Mystic. So that's a little bit better. Curtain Call is a range 2, sadly. 6 dice, 4 power attack. If this attack deals damage and the target character is size 2 or less, after this attack is resolved, it may be thrown short. And on a wild, it does cause stagger, which is nice. But again, 4 power for a 6 dice range 2. Mysterio doesn't want to be at range 2. He's not. He's going to be rarely using this attack.
I don't think I've seen you use it against me. In fact, I'm going to go.
I'm trying to think if I did use it, and I don't think I did.
You didn't. And I think the main reason is that you need that 3 power for tricks and traps. That's infinitely.
I'd rather have 3 power for tricks and traps than 4 power for like maybe if I was desperately trying to KO a guy, but
yeah, if you need to KO somebody, but I think that is legit the only time you'll do it.
Yeah. He has stealth. Obviously, he has his defense thing I've already mentioned, and he can fly. Injured side, he goes down to 5 stamina.
He's only 3 threat. What can you do?
But it's still 11. It's still 11.
Yeah.
So again, brilliant.
Yeah. Like he has that unfortunate crossbones thing where he is the slowest character in the game. He is a short mover on his small base. But he's really good on that back D. He's really good on, a back B or F or whatever, just holding those points. And if you get near him,
you can definitely do a turn 1, run up to a middle objective,
move,
just double move, get close to it.
It's close. I don't think you quite make it, but
maybe not.
Yeah.
But then
anyway,
you're in a position to threaten it. So who next? Let's go. Yeah, let's go here. Curtis Connors.
Mm-hmm. Doctor Curtis.
Doctor.
Put some, whatever. He's a doctor, man. He went to med school.
He is, and a teacher. He does a lot.
He's a prof.
Yeah.
Put some respect on that man.
Right? Yeah, he's 3 threat.
AMG.
There's no doctor on there. It doesn't say. Yeah. But yes, you are correct. The lab coat gives it away. A beautiful model again. Just so good. He's 3 threat. He is size 3. He is a medium mover on a bigger base, and he is 6 stamina on his healthy side. His defenses are 4, 3, 3. So above average for a 3 threat there. Again, seeing that the Spider Foes are a tanky bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm.
His card isn't overly impressive in terms of when you just first have a quick look at it. He has 2 physical attacks. One is Tail Whip, range 3, 4 dice. standard for Spider Foes.
Mm-hmm.
Powered damage dealt, and it has a wild push, size 3 or less. Cold-blooded is his spender, 3 power, 7 dice, range 2. If this attack deals damage, the target character gains bleed and slow, which is nice. Slow's a nice one. He has a couple of superpowers. He has a biochemical breakthrough. Choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, size 3 or less, within size 2, range 2, and throw it small for 3 power. So size 3 is nice, but again, the shortest possible range is there. So range 2 with a small throw, but a bit more option in terms of who you can throw, but it's got to be close. Yep. But he is someone that wants to be close. He has thick hide. If this, when this character would suffer damage from an enemy effect, reduce the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Yeah.
And he also has Warcrawler and Healing Factor 1.
Yeah, as I said, that's where he comes into it a little bit, because like that is 6 stamina, that's 4 physical defense, that's reducing damage taken and healing factor. Oh, like there's a lot of stuff to get through on that card before you're dazing him.
I think you'll see if you watch our game. Lizard takes. I think he's had 3 health left.
Yeah.
I think Pat did 7 or 8 damage.
Yeah.
No, maybe 6 or 7, and I end up reducing it to 1. It was a good defense roll. Don't get me wrong, but it was just one of those ones where you're like, okay, he's probably finally down. No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's great. Like that is what he does. Like his attacks aren't particularly inspiring, but they have a decent push. He's got a decent throw. He's again another really good objective control piece.
Yeah.
And medium-sized base with a medium move. He's not slow. He gets up the board where he needs to, and that range 3 on his builder, it's good.
Oh yes. And he also has not many changes on his other side. It just goes down to 5 stamina, so 11 total for a 3 threat is good. So good. Finally, we come to Kraven the Hunter, Sergei Nikolayevich Kravenov. I didn't murder it too badly, I don't think. He is also 3 threat. He is a size 2. He has a medium move on a small base, and he has 5 stamina on his healthy side. His defenses are the standard for a 3 threat, 3-3-3. So he's the first Spider Foe we've had that has kind of had the basic 3 threat stats, 5 health and 3-3-3 defenses on a medium move.
If only that was the basic stats.
That is your basic 3 threat stats.
But he has a reroll. He has rerolls.
But we have some stuff with Kraven.
Yeah,
he has 2 physical attacks. He has a Kukri Strike, which is range 2, 5 dice, no power. After this attack is resolved, this character gains 1 power. After this attack resolves, the target character gains the bleed, and on a wild, this character may advance short.
Yep.
He has another builder, Spear Thrust, range 3, 4 dice. There we go, Spider Foes. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to damage dealt. If this character has already attacked the target with a Kukri Strike, add 3 dice to this attack roll. If this character has advanced or been placed during this activation, after this attack is resolved, it may move medium. Okay, so suddenly it's a 7 dice attack with power equal to damage dealt and a medium move afterwards.
Yep.
He doesn't have a spender attack.
He doesn't. So what are you going to spend this power on?
Well, he does have a couple of interesting abilities.
What?
One I'm just going to throw out that he has the Elixir of Calypso, which allows him to reroll 1 dice in all attack and defense rolls. So he's an Inhuman, basically.
You heard it here first.
I mean, I don't think he is, but
he went through Terragenesis.
He's not immune to poison.
You solved it. You solved it.
He has Corner the Beast. 2 power. Choose an enemy character within range 3 of this character until the end of its next activation. Each time that chosen character advances or climbs, it suffers a damage. If the chosen character has the Wallcrawler superpower, it cannot use Wallcrawler until the end of its next activation.
Okay.
This isn't once per turn.
Yep.
So if you've got the power for it and you're within range, you could... Yeah, I'm just double checking. You could literally just go you, and you. If you move, if you try and go away, you're taking some damage.
And you can't climb up no walls no more.
I mean, you can, but you're taking damage. Like you can't easily climb up walls.
Well, they lose Wallcrawler, don't they? So I guess they can
just do the whole short move.
Yeah.
Climb. I think it's great. It's a cool ability.
It's really cool. It's a really cool ability.
And
not only that, you can combo it really well with ways of moving characters yourself. Like,
yes, there's a lot of movement stuff in this that would just cause extra shenanigans.
Exactly.
Expert Tracker is his next ability and last ability once we've hit the card there. This is 3 power, but choose an enemy character. There's no range limit on this.
Mm-hmm.
Allied characters roll 1 additional attack dice each time when targeting the chosen character with attacks this round.
So you're telling me that he's Lockjaw?
He has the same ability as Lockjaw, essentially.
He's an interdimensional bloodhound.
Yeah, so you could just combine it with Lockjaw to give 2 dice against certain characters, but
this is good. This is good when you have an affiliation of 4 dice.
Yes, yeah.
Like.
It was much needed. I haven't used this yet, but
no, but it's good. It's neat, and I think it works really nicely thematically with Kraven, and also practically in the game with Spider Foes.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but the benefit it gives you to Spider Foes, just putting all those builders up to 5 dice, is very nice.
It's really good. I like it. I'm very impressed with this fighter card. I think it's very cool. I think they've managed to really encapsulate Kraven quite nicely.
I think so. I think he is fun to play. I do definitely want to be playing him more.
And he has a very cool tactics card as well.
Yeah, we're going to go to tactics cards now. I for some reason I didn't have the full list ready, so I might miss some. So Pat's going to have to remind me.
I'll do.
I'm going to start with my favourite, which is an early game. It's an early one. It came with the Green Goblin pack. So barely any of these are actually Spider Foe cards. They're more character specific cards.
Yep. There are two
Spider Foe cards.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
I think there's 2: Sinister Traps and the Genesis Combinator. Yeah.
But
tell me about some well-laid
plans. Character cards. So we have well-laid plans. Green Goblin, Doc Ox, 3 power each. Roll 5 dice for each enemy character holding an objective token. The enemy character suffers 1 damage for each crit and wild, and they drop their objective token that they're holding.
Yep.
This is a really good card. Like, it can swing a game in your favor. It can stop your opponent scoring points, especially if they're doing well on the old secures. Yep. Extracts. Yeah, just a great card. So funny. And 5 dice, you're generally going to get a damage through, at least. But you could just KO characters.
Or 3 or 4 damage.
That hasn't happened yet. But
yeah, I mean, you did with another card we'll talk about in a minute.
True. I mean, that's actually the next on my list. So I'm just going to jump to that now. So this one came with Kraven, Sinister Traps. And this, if you're playing Spider Foes, I feel like it's almost a must-take now. Certainly in your 8. Depends on the objectives, I guess. If it's, but I really want to play this on Gamma though.
Yep, I think there's so many times you want to play this card.
So Sinister Traps is a Spider Foes only reactive card. Any allied character may play this card during the first power phase. So just play it. Yep. Doesn't have to be Kraven, but Kraven is, the Kraven. Whether Kraven's in your team or not, he's the one that set it up. He is.
He is.
Choose an objective token. Any objective token on the table.
Yep.
The first time a character ends a character, not enemy character. Just going to throw this one out there.
Yep.
So don't try and get too clever with this. Choose an objective token. The first time a character ends movement within range 2 of that objective token, roll 5 dice. The moving character suffers 1 damage for each crit, wild, and hit result in the roll. If the character suffers damage, it is pushed small. Short. The character's opponent resolves this push.
This is good.
So
This
good.
is really good. Like
So good.
it's really good because there are so many ways you can use it. Like you said on those E maps on Gamma or whatever. Like it's very good for that. On herbs, it will be really good on herbs. It's like, cool. Do you want to go interact with this? Sorry. It'll be really. Yeah, it's really good on those maps where it's even. So like the objectives are even. Like you got 2 on. Like you're probably going to get 2 each. Because it's like, yeah, cool, you can go get that second one, but it's going to cost you like it hurt Crystal.
I mean, I threw Crystal into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice. Which was really nice, actually.
It works really nicely. It worked really nicely in conjunction with the crisis you picked, which was, you know, the spider infected, where you get the moves.
That was it, actually. Yeah, I didn't push her into it. She had a spider infected, and I made her move into the trap. Which was a joy, actually.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. It's a really good card, and I think it sets up Spider-Foes as this like weirdly annoying objective.
It will damage you when we're not doing things.
Yeah, which seems to be what they do. It's their thing.
Yeah, definitely. We have a. I'm just going to go down all the ones that I've got in my list, and then we'll
see if
go to the ones that there's definitely a couple that I know. I just can't remember the names. So Carnage Rules. Carnage may spend 4 power during his activation to play this card. Choose an enemy character within range 4 of Carnage. Advance that chosen character short toward Carnage. After the advance, Carnage may make a symbiote tendrils attack targeting the chosen character. 4 power for moving an opponent and then punching him in the face. It's always good.
This card is a bananas.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Carnage's other one is I can't remember what it's called, but he can spend power to give out root condition.
There will be Carnage.
Maybe. Yeah, might be that. Basically, you can spend up to 3 power for every power spent. You can. Well, actually, it might be any amount of power.
No, you spend any amount of power.
Yeah, any enemies within range 3 for each power spent, you can give them the root condition, which it's fine.
It's just another sort of tax that you can put on your opponents. I don't think you're playing this very often. I think Carnage Rules is better.
Yeah, Genetic Combinator is quite an interesting card. I like it. 2 allied characters within range 3 of each other may play this card. 1 character suffers up to 3 damage, and the other character heals the amount of damage you suffer. Really good with Lizard on your team, because obviously the Lizard has healing factor, so you can then start to heal up the damage that you've done. But it's nice to have that option to heal.
Wait, does this work with the damage reduction?
No, that's an enemy effect. But obviously he does have healing factor, so.
I think you can do it with Kingpin though, because if a character, it just says if this character would suffer damage, it may use the superpower. Cost 1, reduce the amount of damage suffered by 1.
Yeah, you probably could then. Yeah, so Kingpin probably could spend a power to take less damage and heal more. Less damage.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not 100% if that would work, but you're right. It might. That certainly is a possibility.
Okay.
So then we have got the ones that aren't on my list already.
We've got the Grand Illusion, which
Grand Illusion from Mysterio. That is a range 3 bubble of no crits.
Yeah,
but also
which costs,
Mysterio
it costs
doesn't
4.
count crits.
Yeah, it costs 4. Well, it changes all crits to skulls. So
that's it. Yeah. So again,
you don't
really want it against Scarlet Witch or Domino, really.
Yeah, or anyone who has like the reality gem on them.
Yeah.
I'm
not convinced by it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it could be useful, but
it's obviously a useful card. It is obviously a useful card, but it is expensive.
It's expensive, and Mysterio doesn't really want to be surrounded by people.
No, I agree. I agree.
Lizard has Monkey Brain as Lizard Home, which is an area 2 5 dice attack, 3 power to use the card. Any enemy hit by the attack is pushed away short.
Automatically.
It's a 5 dice attack. Yes, it's an area 2 attack. We've discussed this before. Attack tactic cards generally aren't the best.
The only time I can see this being useful is if you're forcing like EMAPs and you just want to get people, like you have the last activation, you're just going to go in, do Lizard Brain, you're going to knock everyone off the point, you're going to hold the point, you may do a little bit of damage. Who really cares about the damage because you're really paying 3 power to move everybody away. It's fine.
It's called There Will Be Carnage, the other Carnage one, which is the root one. I think that's it actually.
No, there's Fearful Symmetry, Matt.
Oh god, yes, card. Yes, you're totally.
So Fearful Symmetry.
So the reason I forgot it is because
it will never be played.
I will only play it if me and Pat specifically arrange to play Spider Foes versus Spider.
We can do this.
Versus Web Warriors.
Yeah,
like 100%. I will definitely take it if I 100% know we're going to be doing it, and I will 100% try the whole game to pull it off. Go on, so, you remembered it. You can
got it off, so it's when Kraven the Hunter KOs an enemy Peter Parker. If there are no Peter Parkers in your squad, Kraven the Hunter may play this card. Kraven the Hunter transforms into Spider-Man Peter Parker, so that's core set Peter Parker. Replace Kraven the Hunter's stat card with Spider-Man Peter Parker's stat card with its healthy side up. Move all damage tokens, power, special conditions, objective tokens, and effects from Kraven to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is now part of your squad. So it's really cool because you can be dazed. You can have a dazed Kraven and you get a healthy Peter Parker. Yes, you have to transfer over all the damage and all the conditions or whatever onto the Kraven, but it's very, very flavorful for a comic run that I think Matt will talk about in a minute.
I mean, I mentioned it in Web Warriors, but I will definitely talk about it again a little bit.
But this is such a flavorful card, and it's one of those ones where you're like, I can't actually believe they did it, because will it ever see any sort of, I'm going to do quote unquote here, competitive play? Absolutely not. But are we going to force it? Absolutely, we're going to force
100%. We're going to try and make this happen. So I'm going to quickly jump to a list that I'm probably going to be taking on Sunday, with the caveat that there is a change that I'm thinking about, which takes it to be less thematic, but more
what you want to play,
possibly. So this is my Spider Foes list.
Nice.
It's all 8 Spider Foes.
It's all the Spider Foes.
And then Taskmaster, because he was obviously in the video game.
Yep.
He was a big part of the video game. So he's in there. And then I have to chuck Black Cat in there at the end. Now she is the caveat that I'm not convinced I want her in the list. But she is kind of a Spider Foe.
She is.
But the other option I'm having that I'm considering is Omega Red instead. Because
Omega Red's cool.
With Omega Red with Green Goblin, I think is actually going to be quite a good combination, because Green Goblin can dish out the poison quite easily, and I think Omega Red can take advantage of that.
Omega Red and Omega Red and Venom are very similar, so they may be stepping on each other's toes. But,
it's more just to try them, but I don't know. So this is my fluffy list, and actually, it's safe fluffy. I'm going to try and play it obviously as well as I can. My tactics cards: World Aid Plans, Sinister Traps, Carnage Rules, Lethal Protector, Disarm, Brace for Impact, Doom Prophecy, and Genetic Combinator. I've obviously talked about some of those already. Disarm is just a good card, and with Spider Foes, you're very easily able to play quite a wide list. Brace, they don't really like throws. Some of the characters don't mind them. Mysterio doesn't mind a throw.
It's weird. I think you can do almost like 50% of your faction don't care about throws, but the other 50% do. And that 50% really does not want the other 50% to be thrown into them.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mysterio doesn't mind throws because he gets to use his Mystic Defense. Carnage doesn't mind throws because it's physical.
Yeah.
Venom's not big fan of throws, but he doesn't mind it too much. But then Kraven doesn't like being thrown into. Lizards, yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't have the most health around. Obviously, Kingpin doesn't mind so much.
Yeah.
Goblin doesn't like throws very much, actually.
No.
He's got four physical, but he doesn't love throws. I've seen my Goblin's been taken out with throws before. Braces, I think it was the right choice. I don't, because there's so much health on the table, I didn't really think a healing card was needed as much, but I've got Genetic Combinator in there to heal anyway. And obviously Doom Prophecy is really good with Carnage.
It's so good. It's so good. I think it's good with a few of your characters, to be fair.
Yeah, there is that as well.
But that's the ultimate goal, is Doom Prophecy Carnage. Very good.
So that was that, and then tactics card wise, sword seems to be quite a big thing at the moment. Demons Downtown, because after playing you, I thought actually I don't mind Incinerate, and I really like having extra, having my opponents having less defense with my 4 dice attacks.
Yep.
Mutant Madman, because it's one of my favorites. I like the traps.
Yeah.
Senators, because I think 14 threat for Spider Foes is quite a good number, because I can get quite a few characters in there. Research Station, because again I quite like that one, sort of capture the flag, or well, sort of reverse capture the flag, and yeah, I just quite like it. And Spider Infected, because I do like being able to manipulate opponents, and I don't mind it happening to me so much because I've got a lot of movement sort of shenanigans, I guess.
Yeah, you don't really care, do you?
It's not it doesn't seem to be as important, but you know, I quite like him. Again, I've thought about it a little bit, but I tend just to play the ones that I like. I dropped hammers. This is probably the first list I've put that doesn't have hammers in it, and that's because I've got the tactics cards. I don't want them costing any extra.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's like, obviously hammers, you want that extra attack dice because you have 4 dice builders. But you're right, the tactics cards are so character specific here that you really don't want that tax at all. Yeah,
especially not on like Carnage, where he wants hammers, but I don't want Carnage rules to cost more than 4.
No.
I mean, Genetic Combinator is free. Obviously, Sinister Traps was played before anyone would pick up a hammer, and I could trap a hammer. But
Protector, well-laid plans both need.
Well-laid plans, especially. You don't want both characters having a hammer, because then that's only 4 power each. So yeah, it's hammers got dropped.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I like it.
So the other thing I was thinking about, and I'll get your opinion on this now while you're on camera. Black Cat. So she's the character that I'm like, she's in theme, but she's the one character that I'm sort of being like, I might drop. So the reason I thought Omega Red was because there's obviously Criminal Syndicate as well, so it kind of still fits with the Kingpin Criminal Syndicate side of it. However, my other thought, I've got no 2 threat in there at the moment.
Yeah.
So my other thought was Wong. I know it's out of theme, which is why I don't really want to, but he can heal, and he can give out power to other characters. And early game, I'm not great at generating power.
Yeah.
And some of the abilities like Mysterio, tricks and traps and stuff, if I had that extra power early on, I'm doing that more often.
Yeah.
And I wonder why
I feel like if you do just have a 5-point package of whenever you take Mysterio, just like Wong is along for the ride.
Yeah.
Wong's like, oh, you don't look like Strange, but okay.
But you are using magic, sort of.
I believe this. Yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it. Like healing and power generation is good, and 2-threat definitely helps with list building.
Yeah.
Because he's another one who just sits on the back point, can be a little bit innocuous, and I can see where you're coming from. I really can see where you're coming from. Why not? Why not?
It was a thought. It is very much. I'm not obviously not going to get a chance to practice with the list before Sunday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never used Black Cat either, but so I have used Wong at least. At least I know what Wong does. So that was a consideration.
I can definitely see it, and a 2-threat would help with, choosing who comes in. And particularly when you want to control how many characters you're playing, having a 2-threat allows you to have a bit more flexibility rather than just, I'll play a point down or whatever, which, isn't always the best. It can sometimes be the right decision, but it's not always the best. I think I totally understand where that's coming from. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it was my thought. Obviously, if you want to play these guys properly competitive, then you're going to want to look at getting anything that gives you more economy. You can play it wide, which I think is kind of like the new meta. Chucking Thanos in to add extra dice to their attacks.
You're definitely not going wide. Like you're
not going wide if you chuck Thanos in, but I mean, obviously there was the whole three wide spider foes for a while.
Yeah. I wonder also how many times you could possibly play unaffiliated, or not unaffiliated, leadershipless. So if you just don't play Green Goblin, so you're not getting the leadership ability, but you can still use, Neogenic Recombinator or whatever it's called, and Sinister Traps. Like you still use all those, and not having to have a 4-threat means you probably can go like Craven, Lizard, Mysterio, Doc Ock, and then Taskmaster or whatever, and you do have like a really wide list there. The option to go really wide, when you don't have to shoe in a 4-threat if you don't want to.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad decision either. Goblin's great, and I will always use Goblin when I can. But
like Goblin is really good, but I think there's definitely times where you're like, I want to match up on.
I want 5 characters. Not
I want
4.
5 characters, not 4. Exactly. Yeah.
Or 6, not 5.
6,
but definitely a thing.
It's cool.
So
it's very cool, and I love how you're just like, I'm just throwing all of them in.
It wasn't even really a decision. I was literally like, 8 characters. Who's going to be the last 2? Yeah. And I was like, I like that. Taskmaster because of the video game, and I like Taskmaster as well.
I also like Taskmaster.
Black Cat was the one that I was like, she's in for theme, but
we can just as long as Mysterio is doing some illusion shenanigans, you can definitely fluff your way into like Wong's like, I don't really understand why Green Goblin the stuff here, and Strange is just like, Strange, quote unquote, like Mysterio's like, oh no, it's all fine, it's all good.
Yeah,
that's just Iron Man. Like Iron Man has a new costume now. Okay.
I don't think Wong's gonna fall for that, but
my head it's not very bright.
Headcanon, it's fine. Mysterio is pretending to be Doctor Strange.
Yeah. It's cool. I like it. Very cool affiliation. Like they're definitely my favorite baddie affiliation, 100%. Like I will definitely play them at some point as well. So they're good. Oh
yeah. I'm just gonna throw this up on the screen now so that you're not gonna bring up. But this is the Blade of Moon.
That Blade model is chef's kiss.
It's perfect. Straight off one of the covers of the comics.
Yeah.
Moon Knight is a cool model. Could have done more with it, I think, but
I think so too. But I don't hate it.
I don't dislike it.
No. I agree.
So pack. It is it's 2 great characters. I'd be interested to see what threat and stuff they are. Because I'm still thinking they're both 3-threat, but I can see them not being that.
I see Blade being 4.
Yeah. I can see Moon Knight being 4, to be fair. But
to be fair, yeah, agreed.
I don't think it will be, but I think.
No, I think Moon Knight will be 3, and while I'd love Blade to be 3 because I just love three threat leaders, I could definitely see if they're going to up the power level a little bit of Blade. Bump him up to 4. Yeah, bump him up to 4.
So with that, comic book recommendations, Pat.
Okay. Yeah. I've got a few.
What do you have?
So what I did is I basically looked at the characters who make up the Spider-Foes in this. I was like, okay, let's just look at a storyline that revolves around these guys. Mm-hmm. So the first one we got is Lizard. So this is part of the Gauntlet and the Grim, which was like a really long storyline for Spider-Man, which basically looked at Spider-Man having to run like a gauntlet of loads of villains. It was sort of a sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt, and it was pretty cool. It was just a lot of villains, and particularly I'm looking at the storyline here, which is called Shed. So this is the Lizard like sort of section of the gauntlet. So you deal with Kurt Connors. He's in his new job. He's dealing with the loss of his son. I don't think the son died. I think he just, like, the mother was like, you can't look after him, you're a lizard man. Even though he's got this drug that can prevent the lizard from coming out, his boss is being a bit of a douchebag, so Lizard, like, Connor stops taking his medication. He eats his boss. There's just a lot going on. Yeah, it's dark. Like, this is some dark stuff. Like, Lizard totally just eats people in this. And he sheds his skin and becomes like fully like full lizard mode. He is telepathic in the sense that you can sort of talk to other like lizards and stuff, and it's really dark. Chris Boccello does the art on it, and it's great. It's really good. It was surprisingly dark for a Spider-Man comic. So that was definitely the Lizard one. It was weird. It was the only Lizard comic I could really think about, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, this was good. This was good. I enjoyed that.
Nice.
Where should we go next? Mysterio. So Mysterio, I don't actually have a Spider-Man recommendation. This is a Daredevil recommendation called The Guardian Devil. Now, if you're talking dark comics, this is dark. Okay, so I know Daredevil can be very dark, but this is all to do with like a baby being left in his care, the baby's mum having HIV, the Antichrist, suicide. My God, like there are some trigger warnings in this comic book, and yeah, I will just, he's like this. Mephisto is summoned in this. You're just like, holy moly, what is going on? Where does Mysterio come in? And to be fair, I will just let you read it to find out where Mysterio is in this comic, because
hopefully he is everything.
Like it was weird. Like I was like, oh my God, this is so good. It's written by Kevin Smith. So Kevin Smith, who is a surprisingly good comic book writer. Like his Daredevil stuff is really good. It's really, really good. So yep, that would be my my recommendation for Mysterio. So that's the Guardian Devil. Carnage. Now there was 2. I could have talked about Maximum Carnage, which is the classic 90s Carnage introduction of like the second symbiote. Deals with a lot of the other sort of symbiotes as well. But I want to talk about the more recent Absolute Carnage, which God, is so good. Like this is Donny Cates, who is an amazing comic writer. His Venom run has been amazing. Art by Ryan Stegman, who is the Spider-Man artist of the last sort of, I would say, decade. Like it's that good. It's so his Spider-Man stuff is wicked, and yeah, he can draw symbiotes like no other. This is all to do with Cletus coming back from the dead and summoning the power of the god of all symbiotes. Null. It leads into King in Black, which is the sequel, which is, you know, Null coming to Earth and stuff. It's so good. The art is so good. It's also a Venom storyline as well, so you sort of get 2 for 1 there with Eddie Brock and whatnot. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's 5 parts from the main storyline, but I read quite a lot of the sort of one-shot tie-ins as well, which was really enjoyed. It was very, very speedy. Like, it was a bit like, oh my god, like this was non-stop, but you get a lot in 5 issues, so I was a big fan. Big fan. Where should we go next? So Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I mentioned this earlier. Now, this is it was sort of like a spin-off of Superior Spider-Man. So it's like, if Spider-Man's suddenly superior, well, the Spider Foes also have to be superior. It's kind of a joke because they're like the worst Spider-Man villains. It's Boomerang, it's Shocker, it's Speed Demon, it's Beetle, it's Overdrive. The Living Brain has died. You know, the Chameleon is sort of in there, sort of not in there. But it's really funny. Like, this is a comic book written by Nick Spencer. It's pretty recent as well. Like I said, sort of tied in with Superior Spider-Man stuff. There's only like 3 collected editions. I don't think there was many issues. There might have only been like 15 to 20 issues of it, but it was really good fun. So definitely check that out if you want a bit more laid back, a bit more of a relaxed sort of comic. It was definitely well reviewed by everyone who read it. So yeah, check that one out. I don't know what else really. I guess we could. I don't know if you want to mention Fearful Symmetry, Craven's Last Hunt.
Indeed. Go read it. It's amazing.
Done.
It's an older one, but yeah. I've also got a couple of little ones. More light-hearted, okay, maybe, sort of. So there was I'm trying to think what it's called now. Ends of the Earth.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a Sinister Six. Well, it's Amazing Spider-Man. 5-issue run in Amazing Spider-Man. Basically, it's Peter B. Parker.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah, because this was after the Spider Island stuff, wasn't it? So
yeah.
There's a.
Yeah, it was after Spider Island. Yeah. This is basically Doc Ock coming up with global warming. Well, not coming up with global warming. He's just like making it go faster and sort of saying like, if you help me, I'll reverse the effects of global warming rather than. And then it's the Sinister. It's good. It's a good Sinister Six team though. It's Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, Chameleon, Rhino, and Mysterio.
Sandman, we
I know. Do you know what?
Sandman.
Sandman's an interesting one. I don't know how they'll do him in game, but either be like a big brawler type, or maybe he will be able to like transform. Alan, we're looking at you there to set the basis for that. Another one was set during Secret Wars, War Zones.
Yep.
The Spider-Verse issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just issue 2. It's a 10-issue run, but I think it's just issue 2 that this actually comes up in. And this was Doc Ock, Craven, Scorpion, Mysterio, Shocker, and Vulture.
Nice.
And they're not the Sinister Six in this, because this is set in Battleworld.
Yeah.
In Arachnia. And the mayor of Arachnia is Norman Osborn. He basically hires the Sinister Six that we know, which is the ones I've just said, Doc Ock, Craven, Scorpion, to hunt down what he has labelled the Sinister Six, which was 6 different Spider-Mans, basically. It was Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham, Spider-UK, I think Spider-Noir, and someone else. It wasn't it wasn't Peter Parker. Well, obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't Peter Parker. It was. I can't remember who the other one was. But basically, they get labelled as the Sinister Six, and they send off the bad guys to hunt them down. Basically, obviously it doesn't go great, but it's a fun read. It's a good little 10-issue series, actually. Obviously, a lot of the Secret Wars stuff is. But yeah,
it was good. I liked a lot of that.
I did too. So yeah, that was a couple just Sinister Six ones that I thought I'd throw in.
Nice.
Still hoping we get a Sinister Six leadership ability. I still think it'll be a Doc Ock or maybe Vulture. But a Vulture,
I think it'll be Vulture.
I don't know if Vulture will be Sinister Six though. I think Vulture might be something else. But I can see Vulture being an extra leader though.
Yeah, I only say that because we've got a Doc Ock card, and as much as you want to see another Doc Ock card, I think that's a way away.
I just want to see a leader Doc Ock, but I do think we'll get someone else first.
Yeah. But
that was it. That was. They were the ones that I could think of sort of quickly.
I like. There's a lot of comics out there. Like these are cool characters who appear a lot throughout comic book.
Yeah, and obviously TV and film as well, and video games. They're very well known. A lot of the characters are very well known. Yeah,
I really like what they did with Mysterio in the MCU Spider-Man. I thought that was really good. It was really good. I think Green Goblin in the classic Sam Raimi was really nice, really nicely done. I think Willem Dafoe was perfect. Like you said, Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2, fantastic. Doc Ock. So I think generally they've got the Spider-Man villains pretty on point. Michael Keaton as Vulture was great as well. So yeah, all the downsides of was Electro great in Amazing Spider-Man 2? I don't know. I really enjoyed Lizard actually in Amazing Spider-Man 1.
It wasn't terrible actually. Who is it?
Jamie Foxx?
No, that was Electro.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about. I can't remember.
I can picture the guy. I just can't remember who he is. But he was. I thought he was okay as Lizard. It's just the
Reese Ifans, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
He was good. I just feel like the actual film itself
was meh. Yeah.
They took that comic book storyline. It didn't quite work for film. Like where it's trying to turn everyone into lizards. Just didn't quite work. Which was the same with both Amazing Spider-Man films. Actually. But
yeah, I agree.
And
never mind.
Andrew Garfield just wasn't a believable Spider-Man.
I think he was a believable Spider-Man. I don't think he was a very believable Peter Parker.
That was the issue. He was just like, you're too cool to be Spider-Man.
You're way too cool to be Spider-Man. Yeah.
Be a nerd.
Come on. No, they were fine, but I agree. I think Sam Raimi ones were really good. Well, apart from 3, and then the MCU ones have been really good as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, enjoyable.
Roll on, No Way Home.
Roll on, Venom vs Carnage, because I'm excited for that.
I am excited, but
I am excited.
At the same time,
not hiding this.
It's a Sony film.
I'm not hiding it. Like I'm grinning ear to ear, and I haven't even seen it already. Like it's gonna be so good.
I hope
so. So good. It's gonna be so good. I mean, yeah, I'm pumped.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad one of us is. I hope. I really hope it is. I'm actually probably more excited about Morbius, but
no, he's not Woody Harrelson. Okay, so all I want.
I know.
That is
true. That is true. That is true. But we'll see. We'll see. Do you know what I just found out as well? That I don't know if you've seen Loki. I know you've seen Loki, but I don't know if
I have
seen it. If you haven't seen the episode 5 of Loki, spoiler: Chris Hemsworth is in it.
Yes. Yeah. Is he?
I only just found this out. He actually did a voiceover for that.
Oh, so good.
So that is actually Chris Hemsworth.
Okay, that's good. That's so good.
I won't say what, but
No.
yeah, that's
all right.
It's so good.
Yep, like that.
I just found that out. Apparently, they did an interview and they were like, "Yeah, Chris Hemsworth actually recorded that. Like, it was new footage." I was like, "That's amazing."
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think we are done.
I think we're done.
It's a good
This
episode.
was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Spider-Verse. I enjoyed Spider-Man comics. That was just a lot to enjoy today.
I know, it's just fun to talk about characters that we love. Like, there's no characters realistically, there's not many characters we're going to ever talk about on here that I don't enjoy.
But there may be characters where you're like, I don't know all that much about them, or I don't have invested interest in as much of these guys.
I haven't, I really like Omega Red, but I don't know a huge amount about him.
No.
Like, I know he's been in like TV shows and
but Spider-Foes.
I can't remember much comics, but Spider-Foes, Spider-Man, Spider-Foes, like, they're always going to be like
there,
right
up there.
Definitely.
Agreed. Well, next week we should have a battle report of some kind. Whether that is
I definitely.
TTS.
I
might get some footage for the tournament.
Try and get in person. I don't know if I'll be filming at the tournament, but I'll certainly do an after action.
I'll take some pics as well.
Take some photos. I might do, if we can, if we got time. I don't know what time we'll get home, but maybe just jump on and record a quick
vlog of the day.
After action.
Cool beans.
Chat.
Well, look out for that.
I mean, we could or maybe I'll take the camera. We could just film it while we're there.
Could always.
We'll see.
Depends how noisy it is, how many people are there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll see.
But
so,
till then,
thanks for watching again, guys. Battle report next week. Hopefully in person.
I don't think so. Now that you're no longer having to self-isolate.
Yeah, so that's been another thing that we would have had another. Probably we were planning on getting a game in this week.
Yeah. Because Matt's taking holiday. Matt's taking a week.
Because a week's holiday, I was planning on getting some games in. I was going to go see my family, and then right at the beginning of the week on Monday or Tuesday, I got pinged by the COVID app to self-isolate. I haven't got COVID. I've tested every day since. I'm healthy. I'm fine. Don't worry about me if you are suddenly like, oh no, he's going to die. It's just I had to isolate. So I've had a week's holiday from work where I've done absolutely nothing. So just been stuck inside.
Because the weather's been awful.
I mean, to be fair, the weather's been awful anyway, but I wasn't allowed outside.
Go outside.
I had to self-isolate, and I've just been painting some models and... to be honest, I bought an Xbox because I was that bored. I was like, you know what, I'll buy an Xbox and have it delivered the next day. I don't even want an Xbox, I want a PS5, but they're still not in stock, so.
Oh, never mind, eh?
So whatever.
We'll enjoy our week out. your freedom.
Yeah, I get to go to work tomorrow. Literally, isolation ends tonight, and I've got work again tomorrow. It's like work planned it. Like,
they definitely did.
Let's hope he doesn't enjoy his holiday. Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh well, that's life at the moment.
It is. Until next time, people.
Until next time, guys.
Stay safe.
And enjoy MCP.
Bye.